if you do me a favor, because I'm at my table, I would love to go meet him and get my print signed. But there's more. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out a signed photo from Tamora. It says, To Joe, thanks so much for the print. Tamora Morrison, Django Fett.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sith Talk. Today we have on the show Joe Hogan. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing really, really well, man. Dude, I have to start off. The artists love you, man. Like, sincerely, from the bottom of our hearts, we talk about you all
Yes.
you come up all the time because
Really?
we stress so much from the point of before we even know if we're chosen. I mean, really, when we're trying to figure out what concepts we're gonna do, and
Yeah.
your name always comes up. That like, oh man, I hope we get at least one Tony video, and like he likes our stuff,
Oh,
and like if I hope I get pics so Tony likes. Dude, you come up all the time in our little artist group.
yeah.
We
Dude,
love you,
that's
man.
that's awesome. And like it's crazy because like I just learned about this last 2 years ago in London.
Mhm.
And like when I saw everyone's art, I genuinely appreciated everybody's, even if it wasn't for me to purchase. And even the one that just dropped the other day that we'll get into, I saw all 20 of those prints and I'm like, bro, I can't afford 20 prints. I kind of want all of them because everybody killed it. But before we get into it, and I appreciate hearing that. I love that. And you guys are so talented and you guys deserve it, man. Like you guys really do. But for everyone that's watching, tell us a little bit about what you do and where we could find you at.
In general, or why I'm here today?
Both,
Both.
everything.
Okay. So I am a freelance illustrator, animator, storyboarder. I'm based in New York City. Um, I've been working officially with Star Wars since 2010 when I got my start.
Nice.
Also because of Celebration. Really, my entire career, not just Star Wars career, my entire career, period, is because of Star Wars Celebration. So, like, I have nothing but good things to say about it. But yeah, so I just freelance. I've done stuff for other than Star Wars. I've done Marvel work with Acme Archives, who owns the license to Star Wars and Marvel prints. Recently did a Batman the Animated Series print for them. It was really cool. I've done storyboarding for commercials and online advertisements. If you've ever seen the Liberty Mutual commercials with Doug and Emu, I was part of the storyboarding team that took care of
Nice.
those commercials. I think that's probably more famous. More people have seen that than have seen my
Yeah.
Star Wars work. So that's probably like my biggest claim to fame. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've just been working with Star Wars since 2010. I've done Top Sketch Card. I've done Lego Star Wars work most recently.
Nice.
There's more stuff that I can't talk about coming up very soon that hopefully by the time Celebration rolls around, I'll be able to speak about. But new Star Wars avenues for me are coming up. I'm really excited. And yeah, I've been a recurring Star Wars Celebration artist. This is my fifth time being chosen for the art show, and
Wow.
it's a competition. So it's not just like nobody gets grandfathered in. Like
Yeah.
we're all competing against each other with two concepts you're allowed to submit.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's a jury at Lucasfilm that chooses which ones they want to curate for that year's Celebration Art Show. So yeah, I'm one of the very 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 lucky artists to have been chosen this year. I'm in great company.
Yeah.
The artwork that's with me, like it's there's a guy. So you're probably familiar with his work because you obviously did a rundown of all the prints in the show.
Yeah.
Uh, Suneo Sanda-san from
Mm.
Japan, dude, one of the godfathers of Star Wars art.
Yeah.
Like he's done so much stuff. I think he started in the 90s. I don't know if he was earlier than that, but like
Damn.
you've seen his stuff. You probably just might not realize that, oh, this was Suneo-san.
Yeah.
Um, dude, he's been around. He's a delight of a human being. So just being in the same art show as him, like I am
Yeah.
getting emotional thinking about it because when I was a young man, 8, 9 years old, reading Star Wars Insider, I would see his artwork and just be like
Yeah.
blown away by it. So But yeah, sorry for the dude. I ramble a lot, so if
No,
any
that's
point, if you
fine.
need to steer me in any direction, tell me to calm down. You can slap me around. Don't worry about it.
No, this is awesome because it's so interesting everything that you do and what you've done. And no, ramble on, baby. That is why we are here.
All right,
So
cool,
everyone that comes on, we start off with 3 Star Wars questions to warm
cool,
up. You ready?
cool. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Go
All
for it.
right. So the first one is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that was quick.
Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, forget it, man. Empire Strikes Back is probably the reason I'm an artist. Forget it.
Really?
Yoda's lessons, do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
You fail. I don't believe it. That's why you fail. It's like all that's like Yoda. Forget it, man. Yoda's my guy. Love Yoda.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. So the next one, and I think I might know this because a lot of your art is around this, but
Okay.
what is your favorite Star Wars show?
Clone Wars. That's Clone Wars. Okay. Technically, if we're allowed to choose it, the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars micro series, because that was also completely influential on me
Yeah.
chasing an art career. But if we're talking about canon, obviously Dave Filoni,
Oh yeah.
2008 Star
No,
Wars: The Clone Wars.
Gendy is that counts too. I've had a few people come on and
Awesome.
they're like Gendy right away.
Yeah.
Gendy over Filoni's.
Yeah.
Like everybody loves Filoni's,
Yeah.
but it's something about Gendy's that started it off. And that's crazy because I didn't watch it as it came out back then, but it was like 2-3 minute episodes every
Right.
week. You had to wait a
Right.
week for 3 minutes, right?
Yeah. No, a day, because it was Monday through Friday
Oh,
one
okay.
week, and then Monday through Friday the next week. But that was just the first season. And
Uh-huh.
then the second season was like 3 or 4 months later, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then the last season, they were longer episodes. I think they were like 12 minutes each, and that was just 5 of them.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it was technically 3 seasons, or 2 seasons, and the first season was just like cut in half halfway
Yeah.
through production, something like that. Dude, but like that was pivotal moment for me. So I was in high school. I mean, I don't remember what age I was. I'm 38 now.
Mhm.
So when Attack of the Clones came out, I was in high school. It was the second year of high school, trying to figure out what do I want to do with my life. I liked
Yeah.
drawing, but like I didn't really know what was I going to do. I was leaning towards maybe like psychology and becoming like a therapist or counselor or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but then the micro series debuted, and I was just like, I want to make Star Wars cartoons. Like that's it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Star Wars art, and that was it. I went to art school, and just everything went the way that it went.
That's awesome. So the last question is, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
That's impossible to answer, man.
Top 2 or 3?
All right, top three I can work with. I can definitely work with top three. Yoda, for
Nice.
reasons stated earlier. Um, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like perfect Jedi, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Perfect
yeah.
Jedi,
Yeah.
the Jedi. Plus I've had, I mean, this is biasing in my answer. I'm very lucky that I've gotten to work with and become friends with James Arnold Taylor, who is of course the voice
Yes.
actor for Obi-Wan Kenobi on both Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So that was like a full circle moment where I was like, I'm gonna do this with my career, and then met James and got to work with him as part of my career. That was
Yeah.
insane. Okay, so Yoda, Obi-Wan. Ugh, this is so hard. If I'm doing rule of cool, okay, so Yoda and Obi-Wan are my favorite for substance, but if I'm doing rule of cool,
Uh-huh.
it's the Red ARC Trooper Captain Fordo from the Genndy Clone
Oh.
Wars. And actually, this right here is a production still from the Clone Wars
Oh,
on the wall. Yeah,
wow.
my buddy got it for my birthday one year. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So huge Fordo fan. You can't see it. I have a little Fordo shrine over here of all the figures and
Yeah.
stuff. I sneak every time I do like an every clone celebration print.
Uh-huh.
I sneak Fordo in because he's not canon, but
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
have
yeah.
like everybody, and then it's like, oh, here's Fordo too, and it
Yeah, yeah,
usually
yeah.
it flies under the radar. So I
Oh,
always sneak Fordo.
man. That's awesome. So one of the first things I wanted to get into, and you kind of brought it up before, was like, when did you start working with Lucasfilm? So you said, like with Star Wars and the art, you said it was 2010.
2010.
And it was Celebration. So how did you get that
Yes, it
job?
was.
How did that begin? Like, how did that happen?
So I had graduated art school in 2008, and I couldn't find any work right out of college. So I ended up doing I got a job in advertising, online advertising. So like a lot of SEM, SEO stuff. I just wasn't. People were great. I just wasn't passionate about the job.
Yeah.
Um, and I decided, okay, I need to do something because I'm not doing anything that's fulfilling. Like I knew I wasn't fulfilling my purpose, and reached out to Katie Cook, who was a Star Wars Celebration artist,
Hmm.
still a Star Wars Celebration. She's not in this year, but she's been in many, many times. Um, Reached out to her just for some advice, like, hey, how do I get started? And she suggested that one of the things that I do is post my artwork on message boards, Star Wars message boards. Which, like, do you remember message boards? Like
Yeah.
nobody does now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the fossils remember message boards.
Yep.
Um, so I posted in the fan art section of the Force.net's Jedi Council forums,
Hmm.
and leading up to Celebration, one of the admins reached out to me and was like, hey, we noticed that you're posting a lot of art. Are you interested in doing our table banner? We're gonna have like a big, 8 foot wide, 4 foot tall banner. We're having a
Yeah.
table at Star Wars Celebration. Would you be interested in doing it? So to me, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god, yes, of course. So I did that for them, and I loved it. And my best friend at the time was like, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go sit. I mean, he's still my best friend, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
at the time, he had said, oh, we gotta go to Star Wars Celebration. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I've never been to a convention before. He's like, no, we're going. We gotta go. So like back then, it was like 2 months before, and it
Yeah.
was like easy to get a 4 day pass at the time in
Yeah. Yeah.
2010. So we got a Thursday and a Friday, and we got tickets. We went to Celebration, and we're looking at all of like the scheduling for everything. And midday on the first day, portfolio reviews with Lucasfilm art director Troy Alders, and I was like, I gotta try this. So I get there. It's like 3 p.m. is the portfolio reviews, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the first person. So
Uh-huh.
at 9 a.m. the doors open, and I go and I sit there. My friend's like, don't you want to like see the convention? And I was like, nope,
Yeah.
not until I get seen. And he's like, all right. So he went. He brought me lunch at one point, and I'm sitting there waiting. The person who gets in line right after me is Kayla Croft, who
Uh-huh.
is another Star Wars. She was in the last Star Wars Celebration.
Oh,
That's how
nice.
we became friends, as we met in
Yeah.
line to get our portfolios reviewed. And so finally 3 o'clock rolls around. I meet him, and Troy is like, look, 9 out of 10 times when I review work, it's no matter what, we're not hiring. This isn't about like, come get a
Yeah.
job with Lucasfilm. This is about what advice can I give you? Where can you get started? And he was like, 9 out of 10 times I tell people, work on this, work on this, work on this, work on this. He said, you're the 1 out of 10 people that I would say you're ready to start working professionally. Go downstairs, talk to all the Star Wars Celebration artists in the art show. And I was like, okay.
Damn.
So did that, went down, talked to every artist that had time that wasn't super busy. So
Yeah.
Jake, his name is literally Jake. It's J-A-K, like large letters and then a small E. He was the first person I approached. He was super, super cool.
Mm.
Grant Gould was in the show. One of my favorite human beings on planet Earth. He was amazing. Lee Coase, Tim Proctor. I'm trying to make sure I remember all the people who were there that year. Everybody was so cool, gave me great advice. And I went home like super excited to work really hard. And after meeting Grant, about a month later, he reached out to me and said, hey, man, I didn't realize you did the Force.net's banner. That's super, super cool. I had like 10 people ask me if I did it. I was like, oh, that's like,
Oh, damn.
that feels really good for me. And he's like, I know Topps is hiring for sketch card artists. Would you be interested? And I was like,
What?
let me check my schedule. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, and then that was it. Grant recommended me to Topps. Worked with Topps for about 5 years. Got into Celebration the first time in 2017, and met Acme through them. Met Lego through Celebration. Met James Arnold Taylor through friends that I met at that first Celebration. And like, dude, everything.
Yeah.
Met Chris D at Celebration 6, the following Celebration.
Uh-huh.
Dude, most of my friends I've met through Celebration. It's I owe everything, my whole life, my career, probably meeting my fiance because of being such a passionate like artist, and
Yeah.
she's a passionate artist. Like, probably owe my life as it stands to Star Wars Celebration 5, and my best friend for saying we need to go.
That is freaking awesome. And
It's crazy.
it's so crazy how it just stemmed from that first celebration, how you stayed there and you waited to be the first one
Yeah,
seen,
man.
got like the best answer you could get from that guy, that 1 out of 10 answer. And like that is so crazy. So literally that banner is kind of what got you in,
Yeah,
because then from there it led to Tops, which
for
led back
sure.
to Celebrate. That's so
So
crazy how it all works.
so Matt Long was the guy at theforce.net that will always give me a hard time. He's like, "Oh, I started your career," but it's like, no, you kind of really did though,
He
Matt. Like, you're
yeah,
joking,
yeah.
but you really did. So I owe Matt big time.
So that was your first celebration. Have you been
Right.
to every celebration since then in 2010?
Let's see. I've been to, so 5 was in Orlando, 6 was in Orlando. So yes to both of those. I did not go to Essen in Germany, and
Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember when Japan was. The first Japan.
2008. To the first Japan
Okay,
was
so
2008.
that was before me anyway.
Yeah.
Um and I didn't do the London
2015 was London or
15 or
16.
16, yeah.
Yeah, 15 was Anaheim, 16 was
Right.
London because Rogue One.
Right. So Chris D got into the art show in 2015 in Anaheim, and
Nice.
I went and I was his booth babe for the weekend.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I actually really learned a lot about what it was. He got in before I did. My first time was 2017. He got in 2015. So I learned a lot about what the full process was for the show by just
Yeah.
kind of being his right hand dude. Um, and then yeah, so I was in attendance for 15. 17 was the first time I got in.
Mhm.
Uh, didn't get into Chicago, but went again to support my friends
Yeah.
in 2019. Got into the art show 2020, but they canceled it, so they just did the
Yeah.
art show online at the time. And then Anaheim, I was in the show again, and obviously where we met in London
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the last one.
That
I
is
think 7. I think this is
awesome.
my 7th celebration, if my math is right, or the next one will be.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's so funny how celebration works because I found it by accident because 2017 Orlando was my first, and
Mm,
I was living in
cool.
Orlando and I was just driving on our drive and I saw a banner advertising celebration. I'm like, what the hell is celebration? I had no idea. So me and my buddy bought Thursday, Friday tickets thinking, oh, 2 days is enough. We went, had the time of our lives, and then we were home Saturday, Sunday, and we were like, "Man, why didn't we go all 4 days?"
Right? That's the
Yeah.
same thing with us when we did the Thursday and the Friday the first time, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we
we have not made that mistake again.
yeah, since then, we've been Chicago, Anaheim, London, we're going to Japan, full 4 days, 5 days, 3 days, whatever it is, we're going for the whole thing because it's such a special place, and I haven't been anywhere, a convention like that, where the energy is just like everyone's just happy and in a good mood, and it's just such a good vibe.
If you're paying money to be at Star Wars Celebration, you wanna be at Star Wars Celebration.
Yes.
So, it's just
Yeah.
like, it's not like Twitter or, some of those older message boards where just like,
Yeah.
it's just all hate all the time. No, it's people loves look, there's all aspects of Star Wars that all of us might not connect with, might not love, whatever.
Yep.
You don't have to. There's plenty that you
Yeah.
can. But like, the people who really love Star Wars and enjoy loving Star Wars, those are the people who are going to Star Wars Celebration.
Yep. Yep. So freaking so true. And then Anaheim 2022 is when I started my channel. My very first video on my channel is day one vlog at Anaheim, which was
Oh,
crazy.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I'm here like on YouTube, and that's why I've met so many people these 2+ years on YouTube that are like lifelong friends. It's
Right?
crazy, man. It is.
Right?
It is. It is. It's so crazy, especially meeting you guys at London cuz like I
Mhm.
made that video cuz genuinely I was like this shit looks good. I want to like make a video about it. And then like when you guys all reached out to me, I'm like, damn, like that's crazy. And then meeting you there, and we've stayed in contact. Like I talk to you and Chris D like all the time
Yeah.
since then, which is freaking awesome. So yeah, it's just crazy how it all works, man. So crazy.
Yeah. Every
Y-
celebration, I mean, I'm sure you can probably relate. Every celebration I've been to, I go home with these insane stories that I'm like, I wish I could go back in time and tell baby Joe Hogan, like, hey, here are all these things that sound impossible are gonna happen
Yeah.
while it's just gonna be like a normal part of your life when you grow up.
Yeah. It's so crazy. So, out of all the celebrations you've been to, you have to have a favorite. Which one was your favorite
Dude,
celebration? Because I know mine like instantly.
I do too. I am super biased. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
it's for me, it's Orlando 2017. It's the first time I got in the show. I have you're gonna have to stop me. I have a million stories about all these insane. Oh, okay.
Yup. Where it all started,
That's
baby.
right. That's right, dude. I have the story behind that print is like a book. So I'm gonna try to give you the Cliff Notes version of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was my fourth time trying to be in the show.
Uh-huh.
I was um so frustrated by that point. Like I just wanted so badly to get in the show after getting 3 rejections, and then you have to wait like a year plus for the next one. Like
Yeah.
I was so hungry for it. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it
Mhm.
so bad. And for that show, I mentioned before that we're normally allowed to submit 2 concepts. For that show, we were only allowed to submit 1. I did
Oh.
3, and I was like, I'm gonna do 3, and I'm just gonna pick uh the one that I think is just the strongest one.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up doing that. I did a Captain Rex like Clone Wars and Rebels one, and I
Ooh.
did like a Force Awakens cockpit shot of Han, Chewie, Rey, and Finn, like just like a scene that wasn't in the movie, but
Mhm.
like it just kind of encapsulated each of their personalities. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, out of everything here, the thing that I care about the most, the thing I want to see the most as a fan of Star Wars is the clone one. Like Django's fine. I was like, I love
Yeah.
clones. Everybody loves Ford. Like I said, Fordo's in this print. Like I really
Yeah.
care about this print. So that was the one I submitted and it got in, and I was like an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
Um, and leading up to getting everything there, I had never done a print that size before. So my usual place that I got smaller prints done couldn't handle it at like a cost effective uh, uh, price tag.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up using a print service that was recommended to me. Got the proof back. Proof looked awesome. Placed the order for the full thing.
Yeah.
The full thing comes. Everything is dark and and just like disgusting.
Oh, no.
And FedEx left it outside in the rain. One of the boxes was ripped
Oh
open with
my
prints hanging out of it.
god.
And on top of it, I also did Chris D's prints because he's in Luxembourg and was
Yeah.
like, hey, do you mind doing them? It'll be cheaper if we do it together and ship
Yeah,
together. And I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, of course. So his looked horrible and and totally saturated and dark. I'm having a panic attack at this point.
Yeah.
I'm flipping out. I have Chris on the phone with me who's like, you know how like when there's 2 parents and like one of them's freaking out and the other parent has to like
Stay
calm
calm.
them down to
Yeah,
like so
yeah.
the kids don't freak out. Like I was the kids and the freaking out parent, and Chris was just like, "Okay, it's all right. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna place an order with another place. We're gonna reach out to them. We're gonna try to get, you know, we'll get that's all." So he centered me, got
Yeah.
that figured out. That service that I won't name names, but will not be using again. Promised they would redo it and send a refund. Neither one of those things happened.
Wow.
So I will never use them or recommend them again. But found another place that Chris was right. He's like, let's just do a backup, do another one. We're spending more, but whatever. At least we'll have them.
Yeah.
So uh, we did those. They came. I still wasn't really happy with mine, but Chris's like looked really good.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up shipping his to our friend in Florida. And then I was out of time. I was like, I have time for like one more adjustment
Yeah.
because I liked, for the most part, the way mine came out. Let me send mine directly to my friend. So I got to Orlando waiting for my friend to show me my print if it was like hot garbage or not. And
Oh.
that's the print that you have in your hands. Like
Yes.
that was the one. And I was just like, the relief that washed over me. So it was just draining getting to Celebration, having a print that I was proud of. And I get there and the table's set up and I sit down and it's the first like 15 minutes of the show, like
Uh-huh.
Celebration just opens and a young kid named Jonah comes to the table, and he's like, I heard you were going to be here. I begged my mom to take me to Star Wars Celebration to get your print. You're my
Wow.
art hero. And I'm like, all the oxygen left my chest,
Yeah.
and I'm just like keeping it together. I'm getting emotional now thinking about it. I'm keeping it
Yeah.
together, like, just to like, be an adult with this kid and like give this
Yeah.
kid like a moment of like, oh well, he called you your hero, so be a hero.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he had this cool moment. He wanted to take his picture with me, like all this insane stuff that like was blowing my mind. He left. I like ducked under the table pretending I was messing with stuff. I cried for like 5 minutes because like the
Man.
emotional just like catharsis that just washed over me, that like it was this
Yeah.
horror story to be there, to get there. And then it just like it all worked out, and it's I'm realizing my dream, and this kid already came up to me and is saying the stuff that I never thought I would ever hear from anybody
Yeah.
ever. And so that's just one story from Orlando. There's shorter ones if you want to hear them.
Yeah. Let's
Okay,
go.
cool.
Like, I
All
love
right.
reminiscing.
I'm gonna cliff note some of them. So there was one guy who came up to the table and was like, I still have tears in my eyes thinking about Jonah. There was a guy who came up and was like, oh, I'd like to buy your print because I want to get it signed by Tamora Morrison. And I was like, oh, that's insane. I
Oh.
never had anybody, like any Star Wars celebrity, sign any of my work before. This was my
Yeah.
first ever Star Wars print ever. Like, I'd done sketch cards for Topps, but like
Yeah.
this was like another level for me. This was a really big deal for me. And not to say that Topps wasn't, but like
Yeah.
really this was like a career like bullet point for me that I'm in the Star Wars art show. So I said to him, similar how to you, we're allowed to donate a limited amount of prints called artist proofs.
Yeah. Yeah.
The prints are numbered to 250, but we hand number them. But we're also allowed on the side, which for a much smaller number, we're allowed to just not number it, and those we can give away. Like I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
they're called artist proofs. So I said to him, I was like, all right, well, look, if you do me a favor, because I'm at my table, I would love to go meet him and get my print signed. If I can trust you to bring him an artist proof, I will give you an artist proof too, and then you
Yeah.
won't have to pay for it. He gets one, you get your print. You do me the favor of knowing that Tamora Morrison has my print, and it'll be
Yeah.
amazing. So he's like, yeah, absolutely. So I was thrilled about that. Gave him both, signed the artist proofs, and then went back to the show and forgot about it, honestly, until
Yeah.
about like 2 or 3 hours later. He comes back. He's like, oh man, I just want to show it to you. So he shows me the print. It's signed by him, and I'm flipping out. Oh, this is so cool. And he
Yeah.
goes, but there's more. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out a signed photo from Tamora. It says, to Joe, thanks so much for the print. Tamora Morrison, Jango Fett. And that was the moment I was like, I would die for this man, Tamora Morrison. He is a sweetheart.
Wow.
Obviously did not have to do that.
Yeah.
But like, dude, everybody says he's the best. And that's my one interaction I've ever had with him. And it wasn't even a direct one. And
Yeah.
I love the man.
You still have that
Oh, I do.
oh my god.
I do.
That's,
It's not up, but I have it. I do have it.
that's
Of course.
amazing.
And then the last one that I will go into, there's a million more. So I'm sure you're familiar with the 501st Legion, right?
Yeah, of course.
A costuming group, does a lot of charity work, does a lot of amazing work. So I had worked with them several times before Celebration, and I'm sitting there, I'm working the table, and all of a sudden I see a clone trooper come up, and then another clone trooper, and then another one, and I look, and there's a row of 15 clone troopers cramming into the artist section, and they just surround my table.
Yeah.
And they just thanked me for my work and for showing support to the clones, for showing support to the 501st and doing work with them. Gave me this hat and inducted me into the 501st as an honorary member.
Nice.
Just having like a swarm of clone troopers, and I felt bad because like they were blocking the other artists around me. So
yeah.
Chris D and Brian DeGuire were on either side of me, and like clones were just blocking their tables, and they're just looking at me like,
oh man,
show off. This guy's gonna come. Unbelievable. This guy's first show, and he's already creating a disturbance. But like, dude, every celebration is just like story after story after story after story like that, man. It's the best. But because I think that was my first official time being an artist, that has to take the cake for me.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
those stories are amazing, man. Like you're never gonna forget that for the rest of your life. And I'm sure you've had plenty more like that. For me, excuse me, my favorite was Chicago 2019.
Mm,
So I did Orlando, Chicago, Anaheim, London. Chicago to me blew everything out of the water
okay.
for like many reasons. And you were in Chicago as a fan, right?
I was working Christie's table and Brian's
Yeah,
table, so I was just kind of like my friends in Artist Alley, whoever needed like a second pair of hands.
yeah.
I was there.
So basically, it was the first one where we did the full 5 days. So Orlando was four
Cool.
days, but Chicago was
That was a
five.
long one.
It was, yeah, so you
That's a
felt like
long
you were there
shot.
like a whole week. You felt like
Yeah.
you lived there. It was kind of great with it being that long. But then like we learned how to enter raffles for panels. So we actually got into panels. Orlando, we didn't do no panels because we didn't know what a panel was or how it
Mm.
worked. So Chicago, we got to get into the Mando panel, which like
Oh,
nobody knew what
awesome.
Mando was,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but we got to watch the first 7 minutes of episode one
That's
5 months
cool.
before it came out, which
That's cool.
blew our mind. Like that, it was the scene in the bar where it's like, I could bring you in warm, I could bring you in
Yeah.
cold, and he cuts the dude in half in the door. Like we saw that and we didn't know how to react. And then like John Fav was like, "You guys want to watch it again?" And they played it again, and that moment was crazy. One, then Clone Wars season 7 panel, getting that trailer, holy shit, bro. Maul, like more Maul. That trailer blew my mind. Blew my mind. Then we got Fallen Order trailer. Fallen Order, that game is amazing.
Oh my god.
So that was that event too.
And you got into every one of these panels?
So I got into the Mando panel,
Okay.
um, and then I got into the Phantom Menace panel,
Okay,
and
cool.
then the Rise of Skywalker panel, which then was just called Episode 9. I watched that from the show floor, which was, I think, a better experience. So the Rise of Skywalker panel, before we got the trailer, the title, the name, I was surrounded by 5,000 people at that live stage watching it on the screen and seeing that trailer for the first time with 5,000 strangers. That energy was insane. Like that trailer was badass.
Yeah,
Regardless how the movie turned out, all those trailers were amazing. And
yeah.
seeing that trailer and seeing freaking Lando again laughing in the Falcon, and then Palpatine's laugh at the end, everybody freaked out. And then seeing the name Rise of Skywalker, people just went nuts. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it because that moment was so special.
Yeah.
So there was that. Uh, Back then we liked collecting Funko, so we actually won the lotto and got into the Funko booth with
Oh, wow,
ease.
okay, cool.
We won the Hasbro lotto and got the Maul and
The
Obi-Wan
Black
Black
Series?
Series
Oh,
figures.
those are
Yeah.
awesome. Those are so cool.
Yeah. So that's why Chicago is so special. Is just
That's awesome.
winning all those raffles,
Yeah.
getting into all those panels, having all those special moments. The one day it was like snowing like Hoth, and
The
yeah,
blizzard that day was
yeah,
nuts.
yeah. So that whole experience was just it was just amazing. And then the next year was like, oh, 2020 is in Anaheim. We're going right away. We booked everything, bought it, but then everything happened that happened that year. The world shut down. And like that whole year, all I did was watch everybody's video from Celebration Chicago and Orlando on YouTube. I watched
Nice,
everybody's video.
nice.
And I think that's kind of what inspired me to start my channel was like, I like watching these videos. I like going there. And there's so many people that don't know what Celebration is. Why don't I just make videos? I'm doing it anyway. And it worked
That's so
out.
cool, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Celebration is everybody's origin story. It's crazy.
It
That's
it
super cool.
it is. It really is. So now you're on a 3 in a year row run of getting into the art show. Anaheim,
4,
London.
4.
Oh, four technically, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, oh yeah, okay. So for Japan, what inspired you to do that print that you did with Rex? And I see Jesse's on there. Is that Fives up there too?
Fives is there.
Yeah.
Dogma, Tup, Kicks.
Oh,
Apo is on all the way on the top, all the way in the back. You can't really tell because he just has the little arrow.
yeah, yeah.
Um, But yeah, all of touring companies there. I squeezed in as many 501sts as I could.
Yeah.
Um, it's honestly, it was, I mean, really, every time I sit down to do Celebration, I, like I said, that first year, the one that got me through was the one I wanted to see as a fan.
Mhm.
I've always been a huge clone guy.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Tales of the Jedi is the only time I didn't do a completely just clone trooper piece for Celebration. I just did that Tales of the Jedi one. Yeah,
Dude,
that's the
dude,
one. That's the
this
one.
thing, I remember when I saw it, my jaw dropped. One,
Oh,
because
thank you,
it
man.
looks amazing, but two, like the show is one of the best things that Disney's done with Star Wars wise. Tales of the Jedi was,
I love it.
bro, bro, it blew me away.
Um, okay, so quick r- throwback to that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I stayed up. I think no, because it was debuting here at 3 a.m. and I went to bed early, woke up at 3 a.m., watched the show, and as I'm watching the show, it was in the window of stuff is going to be due for Celebration soon. It
Oh,
was like within like a 2 month period, and I'm sketching, I'm looking at stuff. Oh, I like this. Oh, which
yeah.
one should I do? What scene should I do? Which characters? And then by the end of the show, I was like, all of them. I'm doing everything. So that, like within 36 hours of that show debuting, that print was finished. Yeah.
Wow.
So it debuted. I spent the entire day working on it. Went to
Yeah,
sleep for like
it's
5 hours and then finished it.
it's every episode.
It
It's
was
a
yeah.
it's a board from like every
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, that was the I couldn't pick. I was like, I'm gonna do everything. So
Oh,
I make the joke quantity over quality for my celebration prints because it's always like every clone trooper, every whatever. So
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that was that. But okay, so to go back to your other question about this year's Darkness on Umbar, um, I had done a similar one of the Bad Batch from their season 7 debut of Clone
Uh-huh.
Wars, and it was just like a firefight of them like looking cool, kicking butt. And I was thinking to myself, you know, what can I do for Japan that might be special that isn't something that US attendees would be that upset about missing out on
Mhm.
because it's not like something super similar to the ones I've done for the US celebrations.
Yeah.
Um what can I do that is still really cool and hopefully appealing to people but not as like part of the same set of my other US ones. And I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, maybe it'd be kind of cool to do a companion piece to that Bad Batch one. It's going to be the
Mhm.
same size. It's going to be 11 by 17 inches. So I was like, oh, what if I did the 501st, you know, uh, Torrent Company.
Mhm.
And it just kind of came out like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do Rex on Umbar. Umbar is a really cool one. That's like my favorite Rex story is the
Yeah,
Umbar arc.
yeah.
It's amazing. Um, so I was like, all right, who am I going to put in? I'll put in Rex. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Got to put in Fives. He's the ARC trooper. He's like the hero. Hard cases, the martyr of the story. Got to have him. And as I went on, I was just like, I'm going to do everybody again as
Yeah.
usual. So it just kind of spiraled out of control. And yeah, that's just kind of how it came about. It wasn't really based off of any particular scene because at no point are they really like,
Yeah,
usually they're
yeah.
all kind of on the same level. But
Yeah.
I was looking at the terrain, and there were some parts that were like lower than the others, and I was just like, I can get away with this. I feel like
Yeah, yeah.
I can squeeze by with this. So that's why it's a 3-tiered battle scene. So yeah, it really just came about because I wanted something that would look cool next to the Bad Batch one.
Yeah. No, when I saw it, it was so dope. I just love all the green blaster bolts everywhere. It makes it
Yeah.
like pop so much.
Oh, thank you, man.
And looking at it now, bro, I hope Tops takes this because I could see this as a Galaxy
Oh,
2025
I would love
card.
that.
That would
That
be
would be super cool.
sick as a card, man.
I would love
Oh,
that. I hope they do. Tops, if you're listening, it's been a while since we've worked together, but I
yes.
would because they use I had said to you, Tony, like they are allowed to take Star Wars
Yeah.
imagery that's kind of been around for a while. I think the limit's like 2 years as long as it's been like out in the ether.
Mhm.
Um, they're allowed to use stuff from that other licensee holders have created. So I have like a huge catalog of Acme prints that I've done
Yeah.
for them. So a lot of those have ended up on the trading card app as you know, uh, either special events or just a
Yeah.
card in whatever set. So I know they're looking. So if they want to take it, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be super happy about it.
That'd be crazy. Cause isn't that kind of what they did with Chris? Cause did Chris
Yeah,
know right away or
we
no?
nobody knew until the set came out. So Candace
Wow.
found out, Alabazia found out that way. Like you said, Chris, there were a few people who like just we had Acme print. Danny Haas, same thing.
Yeah, his card. Oh,
Yeah,
I have right here. I have one of his
there you
right here.
go. One of
Yeah,
his
yeah,
best.
yeah.
One of his
Yeah.
best. Dude,
Yeah.
he's the man. He almost he almost destroyed and simultaneously fixed my relationship because of his artwork. Um not with me,
Yeah.
but so my fiance, who actually Tina Kiri did this one, Star Wars the Twins.
Ooh,
Um
nice.
she and I are huge Danny Haas fans. He's a delight of a human being. He had given me his 2020 print, and Tina and I don't live together yet. So she was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna put it. Can I have it so I can put it up at my place?" I was like, "No, you gave it to me. I'm gonna put it up." So it was like this back and forth thing, and it wasn't like a real argument. So like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
so I tell Danny like, "Oh, you almost broke us up, Danny. Thanks a lot." So in Anaheim, he came over to my table and made a big show. He handed me a print and he handed Tina a print. He's like, "I don't want to hear that again." And then he walked away. And I was like,
No.
"Danny Haas, I love you, man. You are the best."
That is
I'm
hilarious.
I'm making my fiance sound like a jerk. She really was not being entitled. I was just hamming it up.
Yeah. But I remember when I was opening Galaxy and I got Chris's card, I was looking at the back and I was like, Chris D. I'm like, why do I know that name? I'm
Oh,
like,
good.
oh, Chris D. And then I hit him up. I'm like, bro, I got a bunch if you need. And he told me how he was trying to get a bunch. I was like, bro, I
Yeah.
got you. Cause I opened so many packs of Galaxy. Bro, these cards are addicting bad, like
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're such a pain in the ass to find and get.
Hmm.
Like, it's so complicated. They sell out right away. Like, when you go to stores, they don't even know what it is. It's such a challenge
Yeah.
getting these cards, man.
Dude, scalpers in general, especially like I as a kid liked Pokemon cards, but then recently got back into the 151 set because it's like the
That's
OG ones.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
And my fiance and I were both like, "Oh, let's collect it because like it's just the ones that we like really care about."
Yep.
So hard to find everything, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
getting like worse and
Worse.
like all these scalpers just like are buying up pallets before they even hit the target shells. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So I imagine Star Wars cards are probably the same thing if they're that difficult to find.
Yeah, it's just I don't think a lot of places get them, and the
Mm,
places that do, they get like a low quantity, and it's just gone right away.
yeah.
I've been into it heavy since like October,
Okay.
and it is not fun.
That sucks.
I found ways though and tricks now to get it like when it first releases, and I found a few websites that sell them at decent prices. So I have ways to get stuff. But it's just the thrill of opening it up and not knowing. Like I bought a box online the other day and I opened it and I freaking pulled a Uncle Owen autograph card.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
awesome.
like yeah, so the thrill of that is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And like now my new thing, and I blame Tracy for this. I love
Oh,
Tracy.
no.
Her work is amazing. But I took her card to GalaxyCon. I had Hayden sign it.
Oh, that's
Then I
awesome.
sent it to PSA to get slabbed up, put in a slab.
Okay.
It just came back today, bro. It looks
Oh, what
insane.
grade did it get? I can't tell.
So I didn't do great. I just
Okay.
did
Okay.
autograph
Okay.
authentication
Cool.
because I
Cool.
didn't want it to be like a 9 or a 8.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I just did it because if you read it, it just says Hayden Christensen,
Authentic.
Galaxy,
Yeah.
authentic autograph, boom, boom, boom. So
Oh, that's
clean
sick,
and
dude.
simple.
That's
Eh,
awesome.
Yeah, and this card is extra special because as Hayden was signing it, he told me he saw my channel, which it gave
What?
me a heart attack. It blew me away that he's
That's
like that he
awesome.
said he saw my channel and he told me that during the autograph, and then later when I did the photo op later that day with them, he was like, "Man, so your channel, you got a pretty successful channel, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's going pretty good." And he's
He
like, "Good
is,
for you, man. Good for
dude.
you."
I'm so glad we got him back, like, into
I
the
know.
fandom, because
Oh
I
my
like obviously
god.
he faced so much backlash
Yep.
because of the prequels and people's immaturity with not enjoying them and not
Yeah.
understanding that it's not the end of the world if you don't like a thing. Um, he seems so sincerely like touched and appreciative that the kids that grew up watching him are like just bombarding him with love and
Yep.
appreciation now.
Yeah.
That's I He's awesome. I'm so happy he's back and like doing convention circuit stuff and celebration and obviously connecting with fans. Like he knew who you
I know.
were, dude. Like
Dude,
that's
and
insane.
that's not the first time. So a couple months before that in Chicago, I went because Mark Hamill was there with him doing dual photos and stuff like
Oh my
that.
god, that's
So
awesome.
I ended up getting an autograph from him, and when I went up for the autograph, he was like, "We've met a few times before, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, and MegaCon Orlando, London Celebration, here, and then yeah, like so." The fact that he remembered me there was insane. And since
That's
then,
awesome.
I've seen him a few more times, and every time he sees me, he like lights up like he hasn't seen it like his
Ah,
friend
dude,
in a while.
that's
And
so
it's such
cool.
an amazing and weird thing that freaking Anakin Skywalker like knows me as a person,
That's
and
awesome.
like I grew up watching him. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
it's unreal. It's
yeah.
unreal. Have you met Hayden in person yet?
I have not met Hayden. No,
Oh
Hayden
man.
is I'm trying to think of the ones that I have met. Obviously James. The whole voice acting cast of Clone Wars I've met.
Ashley
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Matt and all them.
Um a lot of it through James, like by
Yeah,
proxy. Like
yeah.
I'm standing next to James and James is like, "Oh, this is my friend Joe who does the artwork for
Yeah.
the channel." I'm like, "Hi." Not too many other than Clone Wars, not too many like big name ones. Oh man. Celebration 6. I had started doing work for James's stage show,
Uh-huh.
talking to myself, which I don't know if you've ever seen.
Oh, his
It's incredible.
podcast.
So that's his podcast, but he also does a stage show, where
Oh,
he
no, I
talks
haven't
about being a
seen that.
voice actor and has like, so he'll have like live cartoons and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and then do the voice acting live. And I've done a lot of the cartoons for him, so like a lot of the
Nice.
animation stuff. And he also had a series called Clone Wars Conversations.
Uh-huh.
Um, and every once in a while, he would sprinkle in some artwork that I would do for each episode.
I've
Um,
seen it, or I
oh,
watched.
okay.
I was watching a podcast, and there would be like a picture or an animation, and
Yeah.
it would say by
Yeah.
Joe Hogan. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So each of those episodes he's done, he'll usually be like, "Oh, I have, Ashley this week." Be like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you 100 Ahsoka." And
yeah,
so the thing is, James, any favor I've ever asked James, he's always said yes. So because of that, for the most part, when he lets me, most of the time he doesn't let me, but most of the time when he lets me, I'm like, James, I don't want money, please, just like let's just work together on this
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like
yeah.
please. But most of the time he insists on paying, which I appreciate, but like he's ridiculous. But he is always the first person to say yes whenever I've asked him for anything.
Uh-huh.
And on top of that is always very, 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 very supportive, both as a creator, financially, whenever I'm working with him. Like James is the man. Anyway,
Yeah,
so I had just done some stuff for the stage show and saw it live. So it was the first time I ever saw it like with my stuff on the screen while James was doing it. It was, like,
yeah.
super, super cool. And it was late at night. So we went back across the street we were staying in, it was called the Peabody at the time, but I think it's like the Marriott or whatever now.
Uh-huh.
And go to the restaurant with some of our friends, and nearby, Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels, and Ian McDermott all sit down, and we're all freaking out. But it's like, you know what? They're eating dinner. They did Star Wars out. We're just gonna leave them alone. Not
Yeah,
gonna bother them. It's cool just being in their presence, and that's
yeah,
that. Warwick Davis comes in, starts talking to them, and I was like, this is I can't believe
yeah,
this right now."
yeah.
And so my friend and I, the same best friend before, Joe Cervera, we finish our meal. He sees other people that we know. He goes over and starts talking to them, and it's just like, "Are you seeing this?"
Yeah.
So I leave, and I'm going back to the hotel room real quick. As I'm walking towards the elevators, James is coming in the door, and it's like, "Oh, Joe," gives me a big hug, like, "Oh, it's so great. Did you see the stage show?" I was like, "Yes, yes, yes." So he and I go to the elevator. The elevator doors are about to close, and Warwick Davis comes in on a Segway
Yes.
at the last second, and James like, "Oh, Warwick, how are you?" So they're talking. He goes, "Oh, this is my friend Joe," and Warwick, "Oh, nice to meet you." I'm like, "Ah, this is the
Oh,
best moment of my life."
yeah.
So just like insane stuff like that, like chance encounters. But I haven't met any Star Wars celebrities like for like autographs or
Yeah.
the photos or anything like that.
That is awesome, man.
Dude, ridiculous.
One
Ridiculous.
person I'm super pumped to meet in Japan, and I'm meeting Hayden again.
Mm.
Because my boy, I gotta say what's up. And I gotta tell him happy birthday too. His birthday's that Saturday while we're
Oh,
there.
no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But Doug Chang is doing autos and photos for the first time.
Oh,
And
that's
like the dude,
cool.
he's been around since the 90s. And to this day, he was working on Skeleton Crew. He's still a
That's
part and
awesome.
doing stuff.
Oh my
So
god.
I have a plaque I'm gonna have him sign. I have some concept art Doug Chang prints from '99. I'm gonna have him sign.
Which ones? So Phantom Menace, I imagine.
Phantom
From
the one
99?
with Maul and the Sith Infiltrator.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
then I think with the N1 Starfighter, I got
That's
a
my favorite one of
I
his,
got a
man.
book of
Oh,
20 different of his prints that I found at a local toy show. So I'm bringing the whole book. I'm gonna do a couple
awesome.
of them, and if any of my boys want to take any of the prints and go get a sign, I'm gonna let them have it because I don't
Oh,
need all
that's
20
so
prints.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude,
So
Doug Chang is a legend. That's
I
awesome. I'm
know.
super jealous. I'm super
Oh
jealous. So
man,
that's really cool.
I cannot wait. And then I have a Tatooine Traders t-shirt that
Okay,
has
cool.
the N1 Starfighter. His concept art is the t-shirt. So I'm wearing that for the photo op. So I'm sure
That's
he's gonna be
rad.
like, I
That's
know
cool.
that. That's me. So
Oh, so he's doing photos and autographs.
yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
I
awesome.
bought both right away. So
That's cool.
Saturday I'm doing my autos and photos with Doug, and Friday I'm doing an auto and photo with Hayden.
Mm,
I'm getting another Tracy card signed
cool.
by
Cool.
Hayden because
Nice.
she
Nice.
did 15. You've seen her cards, right? From the
I haven't seen
Galaxy
all of
set.
them, but I know she's
Oh
done
my
like a ton
god.
of them.
She
Like
she
she's
got a set.
amazing.
It's called Power of the Dark Side. It's 15 Anakin cards. They're all insane. They're all I
That's rad.
legit might over the next year or two is just bring one of each to Hayden and just have
You're
her
gonna go
whole
bankrupt,
line.
man.
Yeah, but I spend the money on dumb stuff anyway. At least everyone is gonna have an amazing story behind it.
Absolutely, man.
And it's just gonna mean so much. And technically it's a tax write-off because I'll make a video out
There you
of it.
go. That's right.
So hey,
Dude, isn't being a creator amazing when tax season rolls around? It's the
bro,
best.
90% of my life is a tax write-off because everything is
Yeah,
Star
me
Wars,
too. Dude,
conventions, like everything I do is around that in the channel write-off. I love it, bro. It's
dude,
beautiful.
video game consoles because it's visual inspiration.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
crazy. It's
Yes.
crazy. I'm like, I don't know how I get away with this, but this is the best.
Yeah, I know. Like when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, do I need it?
Oh,
No.
dude.
But I can
Dude,
make a
I am
video, tax write-off. Let's go, baby. Switch
I
2.
am praying that because I mean, obviously Nintendo, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it like as
Oh,
soon as I can.
day
I'm
one.
praying those go on pre-sale before Celebration.
I don't think so. I think they're gonna release. It's gonna be either May or June because
Okay, late May, late May,
it's probably gonna be late
late
May,
May.
like late May or June,
Okay,
because I know they're doing at certain Nintendo stores. You could go and
right.
have a hands-on experience,
Yeah.
and the last one is the first week of June in Seoul.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
probably wouldn't make sense for them to release it before that last one.
Okay.
And if they do, it would be like late May, early
Well,
June.
are you talking about the release or the pre-sale date? Because I'm talking about the pre-sale
Oh,
date.
the
I
pre-sale.
want to get mine like in.
Yeah, pre-sale probably would be in early May, I would think.
Oh God, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
in Japan still.
Yeah. I mean, you just do it online. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm gonna try. I'm
I
gonna do my best, man.
A part of me was kind of hoping it would release while we're in Japan. How cool would it
No.
be?
Oh,
Pull up
to
to
be there.
Nintendo
Oh
store,
my God.
go to the the Nintendo store is gonna have a crazy stock
Yeah.
in
I
Japan of
hope
all
so.
places.
Yeah.
So that would have been a cool experience, but
When are you going? Because so me, my fiance, and Candace and her husband, at some point, we're all going to Akihabara in like the week before Celebration, and
Mhm.
we want to go to the Nintendo store because it's like
Oh
not that
yeah,
far from there. There's this like one cluster where it's like a Pokemon Center, the
Nintendo.
Nintendo
Yep,
store,
yep, yep,
Capcom store, the
yep.
Square Enix
Everything.
store. I'm
Yep.
like, oh my God, we have to like spend the whole day here.
I'll be going there too. So I'm flying out April 10th. So I get
Okay. Oh
there
yeah, us too. Okay.
Saturday the 11th. So
Okay.
my
Yeah. Same.
my first 4 nights will be in Tokyo. Then we're taking the bullet train to Osaka for 2 nights to go to
Okay. Cool.
Universal.
That's true. Yeah, I heard you. I heard you saying that on the last live one, right?
Yeah. And then after those 2 nights, the next morning we're taking a bullet train to Kyoto, going to the Nintendo Museum because we got tickets for that
Oh my
morning.
god, I'm so jealous.
And then after the Nintendo Museum, we're taking a bullet train straight to the convention center to pick up badges and our merch because it'll be Thursday and check into
That's
the
wild.
hotel. And then our last 4 nights will be at the hotel right next to the con. So we'll just like walk over on the sky bridge into the Makuhari. I
That's
cannot
awesome.
wait, man.
That's awesome.
Have you been
Uh,
to Japan before?
no, this is my first time, but my
Nice.
fiance was there before me. So
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
So we were actually so I mean, we don't know when we're going to get married. Um but because we're two artists, we're on an artist salary, so we're saving
Yeah.
up. Hopefully we do well at celebration. It'll help towards that
Yeah.
savings. But forever we were saying, "Oh, well, when we get married and we go on our honeymoon, we'll go to Japan." And then they announced Celebration
Celebration.
Japan, and we were like, I don't know if we can get married before then.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
and I don't think we should get married there because our families would kill us.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were just like, all right, we'll do something else for our honeymoon and we'll go and enjoy Japan. So like we wanted to go to Japan together for the entire relationship that we've known each other 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is super exciting for me. I'm a huge nerd. I'm an anime fan, video game fan. So this is like a pilgrimage to Mecca for me.
Dude, me
I'm
too. I
pumped.
I have 50 different hard off, book off, lobby offs that I'm gonna be going to, looking for Game Boys, GameCubes, Nintendo
Nice.
64s, Super Nintendos, and then I'm gonna go to every Pokemon Center because I want to get every exclusive Pikachu plushie from every Pokemon
Oh
Center.
wow!
And
How many are
and
there?
well, every Pokemon Center has its own exclusive Pikachu. So
But
I
I'm
think
saying how
I
many?
think oh, I think there's 6 or 7 in Tokyo.
Okay.
In Osaka, I think there's 2. In Kyoto, there's 1. So everywhere I could go that there's a chance I could go get one, I'm gonna go. Like, what
Yeah.
else am I gonna be there? You know,
Yeah. So is this your first time in Japan too?
bro, my first time.
Awesome.
I've always wanted to go, but that like 18-hour flight, I'm like ah. But now that celebration's there, it's like, bro, I love celebration.
Gotta
Now it's
do it.
kind of my job to cover
Gotta do it.
celebration, and like 20 years of Revenge of the Sith, and like Hayden's gonna have a
No.
panel talking about my favorite movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot wait. I just hope that Natalie Portman just surprises everybody and comes out for that panel and just a panel. That would be amazing, man.
I hope so, man. I hope so. And I'm actually so I'm not the biggest sequel trilogy lover. I think
Uh-huh.
there's a lot to love about that trilogy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
For sure. But I am actually really excited about the Ray movie because it's kind of like almost like a clean slate, and let's see where it goes from here. Because like I love those characters, I love those
Yeah, yeah.
actors, they're awesome. So just the fact that like those actors are going to be there, so maybe we'll get something
Yeah.
about that. Like that would be cool. I mean, I'm not expecting. I'm hoping that the big like surprise for that might be similar to how you said Natalie Portman. I'm hoping we might get Adam Driver might show up because he said, "I'm
Oh,
done with
that'd be
Star Wars. I'm done with Star. I'm
yeah.
not doing Star Wars anymore." I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know how or why it would work, but like I mean, I don't know how you feel about the sequels, but the thing that hurt me the most, that I felt like was a missed opportunity, was that I really wished that when Ben was redeemed at the end, he didn't die, but
Exactly.
felt like, okay, I've done all of these wrong things. Now I'm gonna wander the galaxy as a Ronin and
Oh,
just do good. I'm just gonna go help people. Like basically the Ronin short
from
from Star Wars
Vision.
Visions,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but him and just wandering the galaxy, trying to like wash his debt clean. You know what I mean? I was like, that is like I want,
Yeah.
and it's a trap that fans fall into where like you want this thing and then when you don't get it, it's like, oh, it didn't
It
turn out the way
hurts.
that I wanted it
Yeah.
to. So but like out of everything that I speculated and hoped for and wanted, like that was the thing I wanted the most, man, was just to see him get redeemed and then have like a little epilogue at the end where that's his thing. But I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
I'm right there with you. So I wasn't a huge fan of the sequels. I did enjoy The Force Awakens a lot. I thought it was a solid start
Yeah.
because Snoke, bro. I'm like, bro,
Oh,
who is this guy?
yeah.
Is he more powerful than Palpatine? Like, who trained him? I
Yeah.
wanted so much, but we got nothing from that. He
Yeah.
was wasted. But Kylo was badass,
Yeah.
bro. The helmet, the suit, the saber, his story being Han and Leia's son. Like, come on. Such a wasted thing with him, man. And I wish he didn't die because that's what I want more of would
Mm.
be him in a future project, you know?
I so badly. This was my other theory slash hope that I wanted. I so badly when we saw Force Awakens and couldn't really get like a great look at Snoke. I wanted him to be Ezra because it was like, wouldn't
Oh,
it be insane if concurrently Rebels is going on at the same time as these movies?
oh
Wouldn't it
God,
be insane if we're watching the origin story of this
of
character
Snoke.
who we love and we see him like growing as a Jedi and seeing him do all these things because Snoke had blue eyes. He had a scar in the same place, like the lighter scar. And I'm like,
Ooh,
Ezra's the same age as Luke, and then Snoke and Luke would be rivals later. I was like, wouldn't it be insane if this whole time the villain of the trilogy is actually this other, like, kind of similar to like Anakin and Vader, and like
yeah,
how
yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
pulled the rug out from everybody? Like, it would be crazy if we found out that our hero is actually the guy who is against our other hero. Like, I was convinced. I was like, Ezra has to be Snoke, and then obviously they showed more, and it didn't turn out that way, and I was gutted by that. But I don't know, man. I was really pulling for that one.
Man, I never heard that Snoke theory, but now that you say that, that would have been insane.
I,
But like back then, they weren't thinking ahead like that.
I
Yeah, they're all over the place with those movies.
yeah, the planning
Um,
was not as interconnected as I
it
think a lot of us wish.
It would have been sick if Snoke was like Plagueis and Plagueis was
Yeah.
still alive. Like
Ugh.
there, oh my god, how cool! Because like I mean, back then I didn't know much about Plagueis. I read Plagueis last year or the year before that,
Okay, cool.
more recently. But that book blew my mind. It's
Yeah.
literally episode 0. So good. You read Plagueis novel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my
sure.
god,
I'm
so
a big
good.
EU guy. I mean, if it's not obvious, this is Dark Forces OG Dark Trooper. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the of old legends for sure.
Yes. So that's pretty much everything that I had. Do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about that you got coming up next besides Japan that they can look forward to?
I think literally everything is under NDA.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
There's some cool stuff coming. I guess
Nice.
the only thing I would like to plug is, dude, all the other artists in the show. I mean, you mentioned Tracy, we mentioned Candace and Brian DeGuire, Seth Grote, like everybody in that show. Like, we are such huge fans. We appreciate you and everybody who's spreading the word about us and, you know, the work we're doing. Just to give you like a 2-minute kind of idea of what goes into it. You know, we're fans first. We're freelancers, so we don't work for Lucasfilm. We get to work with them.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, the art show is an investment for us. And this isn't to like, oh, cry poverty or anything like that. But like, on top of spending the money that you spend to be there, we also, you know, pay for our table, we pay for our prints to get made, pay for all this stuff. So just the fact that people react the way that you have and have been acting towards our prints, like, dude, the sincere thanks for the overwhelming amount of support and people who are saying, oh, I'm going to pre-order your print, or even if you're not
Yeah.
going to buy it, like just telling us like, hey, you're doing a great job. You guys don't realize we have months of anxiety leading up to this moment of
Yeah.
like finally getting to show everybody. And it's just like, it's been such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling. And like, all of us are feeling that love. Like, nobody's disappointed. None of the jerks are coming out of the woodwork to be like, oh, this one sucks, I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like everybody's been showing so much love. So really just the one thing I want to do is just say thank you to you, to
No, of
everybody else. Like,
course.
you guys are so awesome. We appreciate you so much. It's such a relief. Most of our anxiety, like, we still have to get everything there, so like that anxiety is still
Yeah.
left over. But um dude, we just can't wait to be there and to like hang out with you guys and like
I
talk.
know.
We'll talk like we're talking, like just
Yeah.
nerds gushing about stuff that we love, man. We all love the same stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's the best. We're so lucky. So yeah, man.
No.
Just sincere thank you.
No, of course. And like I want to try to have an episode with every one of you if I can. So like,
Dude, everybody
yeah,
would be down, man.
I know. I've
Everybody
already
would be
been
down.
I was just talking to what is his name? There's
Is it
so many names I got to remember.
Brian
But
mentioned that he talked to you earlier today.
Brian,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
the droids
Yes,
guy. So
yes.
I might end up recording with him sometime this week
Oh, great.
to
Okay,
drop
cool.
his the next week, and then I got to get with Tracy again, and then I'm gonna start reaching out to the others. But yeah, I want to bring everyone on just because it's cool just hearing everyone's story, like hearing your story, what you like, how it all began, and just everyone's gonna have a different journey, and it's just cool just to hear that story, you know?
Yeah, man. Please, I encourage you to do so. Everybody loves you. Would be thrilled to
Thank
be on
you.
here to chat with you, dude. You're a legend in our circles, and we
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
you. We appreciate your watchers, your followers, all that stuff. So, and yeah, if you guys are watching, even if you don't plan on buying a print, just come say hi. Be like, oh, I'm a Tony viewer. Like, I'll figure out something to do for you,
Yes.
and if you come to the table.
So I'm gonna put Joe's Instagram down in the description. Go follow him, check out his work. But again, Joe, thank you so much for coming on. This was a blast.
Dude, thank you, man, for having me. Seriously.
Of course. And that's gonna be it for this episode of Sith Talk, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.